Hello, Catadactyl here. Today I'm doing my January 2017 wrap-up. So this month I read 12 books and 1 short story. So you're probably like, but oh my gosh, that's not 12 books in your hand. And that's because I read a lot of Bonbon books. But do I feel bad about that? No, I don't. Why? Because they're great. So out of all the books that I said I was going to read, the one that I didn't get around to reading was this one. So it is Romantic Outlaws, and it is talking about Mary Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to read it, and it is massive. It's like half the size of my face, over half the size of my face. So it doesn't fit in my bag, and it's really hard to take to school. So next month, I'm hoping next month. Okay. So one of the first books I read was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. And this book, I know a lot of people have read it. Actually, the town that I live in, we do a monthly book club, and this was actually the book for the month. So I read it for book club, and then we got to have a great discussion about it. If you really like war stories and a lot of metaphors and a lot of symbolism, I would say if I had to do it again, if someone gave it to me, I would read it, but I don't think I would buy it, is the difference. It's not a book that I'm really keen to keep on my shelf. I think I will give it to someone else and let them read it, but it's not something that I'm going to hold on to forever. Okay, so next I read Love in Lowercase by Francesc Miralles, and I've already given that book away because it was just so cute, and so I gave it to one of my friends, but I'll put a picture here. And that book is really just adorable. It's for if you love cats, if you love it was kind of like Murakami in a way that things, oh, and the cat is named Murakami, but I meant the writer Murakami, where it's kind of mystical and surreal, but then also really touching and a little bit melancholy and hopeful, and it was just a pretty good read. Again, that's a book that I would definitely like to get as a gift, but I don't know if I will keep it on my shelf, and in fact I've already given it away to one of my friends already to read who likes cats. So yep. Okay, and after that I read Some Prefer Nettles by Jun'ichiro Tanizaki. So this is a classic Japanese book about a married couple who is essentially miserable, but neither of them can just put the final nail in the coffin to get a divorce. It also explores modernism and traditionalism in Japan, as well as takes a good look at what is expected of women, what is expected of men, and that sort of thing. So if you like Japanese literature, if you like Tanizaki, if you like family dramas, family sagas, exploring traditional versus modern, then this would probably be a great book for you. Yep, okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, so the next one I read on my Kindle. It's called As Meat Loves Salt by McCann, and it is set in the Civil War of England in the 1640s. It's a story about a man. 2 things happen to him. One, a brutal murder happens in his town, and the second one is that he marries his childhood love. And from there, there's war, there's adventure, it's good versus evil, what is love, what is hate, and that's actually my second pick for the month. That was my second favorite book that I read. It's As Meat Loves Salt by McCann. It was so emotionally gripping, and it's set in a time where there's just a lot of tension already. So I thought it was really good, and I highly recommend it to you if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. Okay, so after that one kind of was emotionally heavy. So then after that I switched gears and read The Little Paris Bookshop by Nettles. So I thought this would be a break from an emotionally draining book. However, this book also deals with some very serious issues. But it follows a man, John Purdue, around as he tries to find his lost love of 20 years ago. And it's kind of a story where he's trying to find new love, trying to come to terms with his lost love, and he meets other people on their journeys of love as well. First love, letting go of past love, trying to make someone love you, that kind of thing. and it's set in France. And one of the greatest things about this book is for the longest time, it's set on a book barge, which, what a cool idea. It's a barge and they travel down the rivers of France, and he sells books along the way as he goes. So if you like books, if you like France, if you like redemption stories, if you like love stories, then this would be for you. Again, this isn't one that I super loved and I will keep it on my shelf. I have plans to give it away, but it is definitely one that I would recommend and give to someone to read. Yeah. Okay, so I also read a short story by C.S. Pacat, who's one of my favorite authors of all time, called The Summer Palace. And the reason I'm going to mention it, even though it's not technically a book, is because the trilogy that the short story comes off of is my favorite trilogy of all time. It's Captive Prince, Prince's Gambit, and King's Rising. Her story, her world is just amazing. And it's between two male characters. One is Laurent, one is Damon. And if you don't know about them, you should, because they're like the most awesome couple ever. And I ship them so hard and I love them so much. And anyway, so any short story she's gonna produce, I will definitely read. That being said, if you haven't read her trilogy, the first is Captive Prince, please do so. You will just like love it. I know it. So the last book I read this month is Demian by Hermann Hesse. So this book is about a young boy named Sinclair. And he isn't sure if he's going to walk the path of light or the path of dark, and he meets some people along the way who kind of tell him different philosophies, and it's kind of mysticism meets church, meets good versus evil, and love and purity versus a dirty underbelly of sexuality. So the whole book was so amazing. This is my #1 pick for this month. And if you like Hesse, you'll already know what I'm talking about, but Hesse is an amazing writer. And when I was reading this book, I got to like the last 40 pages and I was like, what's gonna happen? I don't know, what's gonna happen? I got to the last 20 pages and I was like, oh my god, I don't know. And I read the last 2 pages and I was just like, oh my god, you are a god among men. I wanna frame the last 2 pages because they are that good. So I highly recommend this, please read this book. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this month. I also read 6 Bonbon books, which are very quick reads, they're romances, and I'm not going to talk about them here, but if you want to know which ones I read and what I thought of them, there's a separate video called Bonbons of January 2017. Yes, so thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you read and if you like any of these books too. Okay, thanks, see you, bye!